Welcome back to the Battle Camp. So yesterday I posted a video talking about James Degale and Chris Eubank and the fight that they've got scheduled on February 23rd, and the fact that Eddie Hearn mentioned during an interview that the ticket sales weren't doing too clever. Now, one of the things during that video that I posted that I mentioned was how I wasn't very impressed with the way ITV were rolling out the promotion for this fight. So YouTube content, Twitter kind of tweets, and little videos on Twitter and Instagram as well. So I posted that video yesterday, February 7th, at about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 p.m, something like that, early evening. Anyway, I went out and I came home and I saw at 9 p.m. they had posted the face-to-face video, which is basically the gloves are off, or what they do in America as well. I'm not really sure what they call it in the States, but Max Kellerman, when they sit. Well, I don't know why they always need to fucking sit with their seats back to front, like Zach Morris and AC Slater in fucking Saved by the Bell. But anyway, one of the things that I said during my video yesterday was I wasn't happy that ITV hadn't posted this video yet, the face-to-face video. I thought that they should have done it sooner, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, just to kind of, could have been like the starting point of the promotion. So you'd have the press conference, a couple of weeks later you'd have this face-to-face video, or a week later or something, have this face-to-face video, and then just follow them around and kind of video them and put out little kind of 5-10 minute clips on YouTube and then Twitter and Instagram of how the training camps are going. That's how I would have done it. Not that I'm a marketing genius, but that's just that seems like a formula that would work, because it would help kind of gather pace, and you could always refer back to the things that were said during the face-to-face. Anyway, so they posted a face-to-face video yesterday, so that's still kind of got a couple of weeks to the fight, so not crazy late. But yeah, so I thought it would make sense for me to kind of review the face-to-face, given the fact that I was so agitated that ITV hadn't released the face-to-face just yet. So one of the things that I liked about this face-to-face was the location. So often, so actually no, let me rephrase this. So HBO go with this like dark room with the lighting where you can kind of mainly just see the three faces of Max Kellerman and the two fighters sitting opposite each other on that little kind of square table. And then Sky tried to kind of copy that with their gloves are off videos, and it's basically the same formula with Johnny Nelson sitting between two fighters. And this is the same because it's Gabriel Clark sat kind of on the side of Chris Eubank and James Degale, staring at each other, looking at each other in the face, The thing that I like about this is they're not fucking sat with their chairs back to front. I never understood that. It didn't make sense to me, and they're not doing it here. They're kind of just sitting normally with their hands on the table. The location, I like the location. They didn't go for a dimly lit room. They went for kind of this industrial warehouse kind of look, and I like it. I like the way it looked. I like the aesthetics of it, and it kind of made sense. It was kind of like in these kind of old kind of gangster films where two opposing kind of leaders meet each other in some secluded warehouse somewhere. Maybe I'm talking shit, I don't know, but yeah, it gave me it was a nice visual, let's just say. So that's a positive. Gabriel Clark, he's been around for fucking years. I remember seeing him kind of interview during Champions League nights on ITV, and also different kind of footballing, kind of World Cup and different football kind of content that ITV put out. I remember him being a part of it, and he knows what he's doing, man. He's a good, I don't know, is he a journalist, presenter, whatever he is, he's good at what he does, and he let them breathe. He let them talk, and he didn't feel uncomfortable if it went silent for a little bit, because you always see that sometimes where there's like an interviewer, or the thing that I hate when there's someone trying to get a response from someone else is if there's a bit of silence, they jump in and try and kind of steer the conversation, and he just let it breathe. He just let them to do their thing, and then if it went quiet for a little bit, who cares? Like, they can edit this down anyway, and generally speaking, when it goes quiet, one of the two guys came in and had kind of added something else to say. Not that it was quite very often, because fuck me, they're both quite mouthy. But less about kind of the actual content and how it was presented, more about the two fighters. Bloody hell. What the fuck? Anyway, so James Degale and Chris Eubank, they're very different. James Degale was very kind of, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's animated. He shows his emotion on his face, and the way he reacts and the way he kind of moves his body around. He shows that he was getting agitated with what Chris Eubank Jr. was saying. Chris Eubank Jr. on the other hand, he's very calm, collected. It's like he's calculated in the words that he chooses to use and when he uses them. The thing that I believe is, I'm not sure whether Chris Eubank Jr. believes the words that he's saying. Now, James Degale kept saying, "Oh, you're delusional, this, that, and the other, you're delusional." And it might be, he might be right. Chris Eubank Jr. might be delusional, and he might actually believe everything that he's saying. But you have to doubt yourself, man. Like, after coming up, it's not that he just came up short, but he was just schooled by George Groves. And I don't know. I'm not a fighter. I don't know what it takes to be a fighter, but I'd assume you have to show a lot of mental toughness and resilience, and having a defeat like that on your record. Because I don't know, to my mind, I'd rather be in a competitive fight and get knocked out than just get kind of schooled over 12 rounds and kind of just shown that you're a level below, if that makes sense. And everyone's kind of saying, every time Chris Eubank steps up, he doesn't live up to the billing, and he fails. That must play into someone's head. It would play into my head. But that, I'm not a boxer. Maybe Chris Eubank Jr. is able to deal with that kind of pressure and deal with that kind of negative comments about himself, and he's able to kind of not pay attention to that and really just block that out and cut that out. Who knows? But he seems very confident. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is, I don't know where he gets that fucking confidence from. Like, I just don't get it. And it's got a touch of Amir Khan about me, to be honest, because whenever something happens in Khan's career, he's always got a reason why it wasn't his fault, and it was something else, an external influence that was the reason behind that happening. Like, he's able to dust off any kind of negative connotations about his performance and put it down to something else. No, it wasn't me, it was that. I was fine. It was that. Oh, that shot wasn't that hard. He just caught me on the chin, and look, I went down, but I straight back up. And this is what he was saying in his last fight. But we could see he was unsteady for the next round or two. But in his head, it was it was like a flash knockdown. It was nothing major. It's boxing. Yeah, my performance was fine. So, like, that, I don't know whether you'd call that delusion, or I don't know what you would call that. Maybe Chris Eubank has got a touch of that about him, that he's kind of, he just dusts that kind of stuff off, and it doesn't really affect him, which is good. You need that. You need to be that way if you're going to achieve anything as a boxer. James Degale, on the other hand, he was just doing what James Degale does. Now, like, people like James Degale is very animated, and he's very kind of like I said, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think people kind of see him behaving in that way and think, oh look, Chris Eubank's got him, he's got his number, he's got him flapping a little bit here. I don't really subscribe to that, man, because I think the way James Degale is, and the only way I can really quantify this, and it's a bit childish, but when I was a kid, when I was in high school, there were some guys that could get involved in a cussing match, and you could say whatever you wanted about their mum or whoever else in their family, and say whatever you want, say some hurtful, mean things, and these guys would give it back to you, but you could tell they were just they would laugh and they wouldn't give a shit. Like, it wouldn't actually, those words wouldn't hurt them. And I get the feeling James Degale's a little bit like that, because me personally, if I was involved in a cussing match, this is so dumb, but this is the only way I can describe it, because effectively what these two were doing was having a cussing match. But when I got involved in a cussing match at high school, if someone said something to me, and I would actually feel hurt by someone's words, if someone said something and everyone in the room laughed, it would like make me feel a bit embarrassed, and I'd I'd feel it. And then I remember there was certain people in high school that you could say whatever the fuck you wanted about them, and they wouldn't give a flying fuck. They would just cuss you back. They would try, it was just water off a duck's back for them. And I get the feeling, even though James Degale was being so animated and showing his agitation and showing his frustration at Chris Eubank and the things that Chris Eubank was saying, I get the feeling James Degale's a bit like that. I don't think this. I don't think you can get into James Degale's head, like, especially after his fight with George Groves. I think that was the height of someone getting into James Degale's head, and I don't think it's possible to do that now. Personally, I think James Degale's an adult. He's a grown man now, and he knows the game, and he might get frustrated at what Chris Eubank Jr. is saying, but I don't think his frustration in Eubank's words will affect his performance in the ring against Eubank, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. But the face-to-face was actually quite entertaining, to be honest. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the back and forth between them two. Now, for me, it doesn't seem like there's any actual genuine, like, I can tell they don't like each other, but it's not to a point where, what the fuck is going on with my voice? I can tell they don't like each other, but it's not to a point where, you got to be careful because they might actually start fighting. Does that make sense? It's not like a Dillian White and Chisora situation. It's more like, yeah, they don't like each other, but they're going to keep it professional because they know they're going to fight. So yeah, it's not on edge, like there's going to be an actual physical fight any minute if they're in the same room together, like how Conor McGregor and Khabib were. But yeah, it's a nice little kind of, it's not even a rivalry, it's just literally two people that don't like each other. But it's not like they absolutely hate each other, where if they see each other they're going to just throw hands. But it was entertaining, and one thing I have to say, I have to fucking agree with James Degale, because that coat that Chris Eubank was wearing, that jacket, oh man, Chris Eubank is in need of a stylist, in my humble opinion. Like, I mean, I know these clothes must cost money, but like, I know they're probably design, and that jacket's probably worth $3,000, and $3,000 is probably more than I've spent on my entire fucking wardrobe. But fuck me, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, and James Degale was right. What the fuck kind of coat was that? What was that? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna put a link to this back and forth, this face to face, in the description, so you can watch it if you haven't already. And please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. So actually, I've got a couple of new subscribers just by begging people yesterday, so I'm just going to keep fucking doing it. So please subscribe. I really appreciate the support. I'll catch you next time.